Yo, what is up, guys? Watt007 here, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a Star Wars Rogue One review. And for the first minute of this review, there's going to be no spoilers, because I just want to tell you guys why you should watch Rogue One if you are considering watching it. If you're a fan of the original trilogy of Star Wars, Episode 4 through 6, and New Hope, Emperor Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, if you're a fan of that trilogy, this fits in really well with how that trilogy works from, for a prequel, because this movie is a prequel of that trilogy. It's really good, and it's just like, you gotta go watch it. It was a really good thing. And one thing I do like about this movie too is how it fits in really well with the whole timeline of the Star Wars from episode 1 through episode 7. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And okay, so let's get to the spoiler part of the movie. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers in the movie, you should click away, and let's get onto this. So before we get onto this, I'm a very casual Star Wars fan. I'm not like hardcore into it, so I don't know every single secret. So just remember that. I'll probably like mess up some things when I'm talking about it, but I still want to talk about the movie because it was really good and I enjoyed it, because I have seen all 7 episodes of Star Wars, but it's kind of fuzzy. And yeah, but the first thing that can come to my mind about the movie is like how good it looked. It looked really similar to episode 7 of Star Wars, and that's fine because it just looked really good in general. The camera angles were great. How it cut from each different scene felt smooth, and overall it was really good. Character development and like introducing this whole new batch of characters that we had never seen before. They fit really well with the Star Wars universe, and there's so many perfect comic reliefs with the cast. But yeah, let's just like get to like some of the members of them. Like the main character, the girl called Jen, I think that's her name, Gyn. She's the main character. Apparently her father is one of the people that worked on building the Death Star, and he was the person that sabotaged it to where it was so we were able in New Hope to blow up the damn thing. So that was pretty dope. So yeah, so the main character is the daughter of the dude who built the Death Star, or helped out building the Death Star, so that's really cool. Second character we got up was Captain Kreas, I think his name was. He was a pretty interesting character if you think about it, because he did a lot of shady shit. Like the first time you meet the dude, he's like trying to get some information from this guy that's trying to like escape the town, and then freaking the captain got caught by the stormtroopers, so you had to so you hid evidence by shooting the dude they got the information from about the what was it, the Imperial? I think that's what they're called. I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan. I forget this stuff so easy. I think it's the Imperial, of how their plans of getting the Death Star and stuff like that, and like building it. There was word of a Imperial, what was it? Yeah, an Imperial, like some dude that pilots the ships was turned rogue and betrayed them, and had a message about the plans of what the Imperial are doing and shit like that. So yeah, the captain did some shady shit. He killed the dude that he got the information from, and then escaped that fucking place and went back to the rebels, because he is part of the rebels, but he's like one of the spies, so it's pretty shady on there. Who else do we have? Like right now I'm looking at like in my computer right now to see like all the characters so I can get the names right away, and see the faces so I can remember parts in the movie. And then one thing I did like about it too was the third character that you will see is the robot called K2SO. He is a funny character. He is perfect for the movie when it comes to comedy relief, because the movie would be so damn boring if it wasn't for that comic relief. But there's a lot of good parts in the movie where there's a lot of comic relief, so many funny moments and stuff like that, and a good amount of them came from the robot K2SO. He had a pretty interesting personality, and what was interesting about him is that apparently he was I think he was like a reprogrammed Imperial robot. I think that's what it was. Yeah, he was like reprogrammed or whatever. And And yeah, he was like part of the good side and stuff like that. And one of his like side effects was it's not really a side effect, but they just said that in an excuse to give him more dialogue, is that he seems to be able to pick up on what humans say and stuff like that. So he has a interesting personality, which is interesting about the Star Wars movies, because on episode 7 everyone was so attached to BB-8 because of his personality, even though he couldn't talk. And the same thing goes again with another like main character as a robot, how they have so much personality in the movie that brings happiness, I guess, to the viewers or whatever. So that's really cool. It's awesome to see that Star Wars is making us like, care about robots almost, because honestly no one really cared too much about C-3PO or R2-D2. I mean, R2-D2, all he did was make that, that classic R2-D2's noise of him freaking out, but that was pretty much it. And then C-3PO always complains all the time, But, like, the robots from 7 and Rogue One just have so much personality, which is awesome about them. Yeah, and then some other members of the cast. There was a lot of members in the cast. It was there was some Asian dude called Blaise Manalis. No, wrong dude. Frickin', it was this guy called Crook in me. There he is. He's like this Asian that's a Jedi. No, he's not a Jedi, but he's like one with the Force, and he believes in the Force like it's a religion, even though it does exist in the show. And then yeah, his like trusty partner was, yeah, wasn't it Blas Mandalas? I think it was, like, and he had like his partner is like guy with dreadlocks or whatever with a huge gun. He was basically like one of the tanky sort of guys in the group. That was pretty cool. Another character was Saw Mirgana. He was like one of the people that was able to get messages from Jin's father on getting the plans of the Death Star, or like he was like the person. Oh God, I'm trying to think. So Jin's father wanted to send a message to Saw Mirgana, I think that's his name, to give him a message to tell him like what is going on with the Death Star, or telling him that the Death Star exists and it's able to be destroyed. That's pretty cool. And yeah, so that's basically like all the characters and stuff. Like the movie's pace went by pretty fast. Like I said like around the beginning, the scenes went great. Like the scenes were smoothly transitioned. The movie went at a really good pace and transitioned really well with the different like planets that they're on the movie, because they had some pretty cool planets. That was for sure. I forgot the planet names of where they were on, but there's like this one desert one, and there's like some town skirmish, and there's like a town in there, and there's like some skirmishes happening where the stormtroopers are like monitoring the place, but there's like a bunch of these like poor people in the town that were gonna set up a diversion to take out one of the stormtroopers like vehicles to collect parts to sell. So there's like a little skirmish that happened there. It was really cool. Another skirmish that happened was on this different planet that where Jin's father was there, and yeah, and like some of the like imperial leaders and crap like that were there too, and they're like having like a talk on who betrayed the plan of the Death Star, because they know that one of the characters there, or one of the people there, sent plans about telling people like what's going on with the Death Star and stuff. So they're trying to find the snake there. So there's a huge skirmish there. Jin's father dies, and then she got really sad, and then Captain Reyes was there to take her out of there. And actually, Captain Reyes's job was supposed to kill Jin's father, because the rebels didn't know that Jin's father was on the good side, because he's working with the Imperials. So yeah. And then the final fight, like the ending of the movie was so damn good. It just made the ending of the movie tied in so well with the beginning of the New Hope. So if anyone's gonna ever binge watch episode 1 through 7, you're gonna want to throw Rogue One in there. So you go from episode 1, 2, and 3, Rogue One, episode 4, New Hope, episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and then go to episode 7. What was episode 7 name again? Dude, I forgot. I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan, so I don't remember that stuff. Oh yeah, it was The Force Awakens, yeah. But no, it was a really, really good movie, that's for sure. And like, Oh, and also I forgot one thing to mention, dude. The cameos of there is apparently my dad's a huge Star Wars fan, and that's why we went to the movie because he really likes Star Wars. And he told me that there's like so many references to like characters from New Hope that were in this movie, but younger, of course, because it's a prequel. There's so many references to them. You'll see, I know you guys like seeing C-3PO and R2-D2. They had a little funny moment where C-3PO is like, how come I never know anything about this? Darth Vader was there so much. Darth Vader was so badass. They even showed Darth Vader, like, without his like suit on, and like when you first see him, you see him without his suit, so he's all in that pale like scaly self, because I think in like episode 3 he fell in lava and that's why his body got fucked up. So yeah, it's been a while since I've seen the prequels. Yeah, but yeah, it's freaking Darth Vader was dope to see. Another cameo, dude, this one just slipped from my head. I know C-3PO and R2-D2 was there. I know Darth Vader was. I thought there was someone else that was like super prominent that I knew that was like in here. Oh yeah, there we go. At the end, you see Princess Leia, because at the end of Rogue One, it shows like the first like 5 to 10 minutes of the New Hope. It was so cool. That was a really cool part of how it just transitions so well to like the beginning of the New Hope, and how like at the beginning of New Hope where Darth Vader's beating up all the rebels or whatever, and they just get destroyed. Well, that happened. Well, they recreated that pretty much in Rogue One, and that was really cool. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I gotta say on the movie, to be honest. So yeah, if you couldn't tell already, I'm not too much of a hardcore Star Wars fan, and I know there were so many more references from the New Hope and other episodes of like 5 and 6 was in Rogue One, but I didn't recognize because I am not a hardcore Star Wars fan. But still, it was a super enjoyable movie. If you guys watched the movie and got to the end of this video, put a comment down below. What was your favorite character from the movie, and what was your favorite scene from the movie? Honestly, I'm gonna say my favorite character. I don't really know who's my favorite character. I guess I like the Robot K2. He had a pretty awesome personality when it comes to robots, so I'll say he's my favorite character. And my favorite scene was definitely the ending fight scene of how that all wraps up and the whole plan on it and stuff. Yeah, I missed that. I didn't even talk about like how freaking the ending of how they got the the code name for the Death Star is called Stardust, which is pretty interesting because that's when you destroy a planet. I don't know when you destroy a planet, but Stardust must be everywhere if you do, maybe. Oh yeah, and then another thing I forgot to mention is that here's a point that I forgot to say. So like, what was interesting about the movie too is how every character from the cast pretty much died. And it was like, oh man, they're not alive. And I mean, you should expect that because how are they gonna like show freaking like how are they gonna cover up that the characters weren't in the first in the New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi? So they had to take out all the characters from Rogue One that were helping to get the Death Star plans. But it still sucked nonetheless. Like a couple of the deaths I didn't care about, but then once everyone else from the crew died, I was like, aw man, that sucks. Yeah. So yeah, but I think that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say. This was a pretty awkward review, and I'm gonna be honest, not my best video I could have ever uploaded, but I want to get this out right away. But yeah, peace out, everyone. Adios.